Red Carpet Massacre. Red Carpet Massacre is the 12th studio album by English new wave band Duran Duran, released on 13 November 2007 by Epic Records. Most of the music on the final incarnation of the album was completed in late 2006 following the departure of band member Andy Taylor, with new guitarist Dominic Brown replacing him when record producer Timbaland began working with the band. Falling Down was the only single released from the album. Red Carpet Massacre debuted at number 44 on the UK Albums Chart, becoming the band's second lowest debuting album on the chart, after Pop Trash 2000. The album debuted at number 36 on the US Billboard 200, selling 29,000 copies in its first week. The following week, it fell to number 116. As of February 2011, the album had sold 102,000 copies in the United States. It was Duran Duran's second and final album released with Epic Records, before the band parted ways with the label in 2009. Early sessions. The band did its initial recording for its follow-up to Astronaut with producer Michael Patterson between September 2005 and April 2006. Roger Taylor said in March 2006, "The record will be in some ways a homage to our roots as a band, more direct, and a return to our dance and new wave origins," adding that they had brought 15 tracks to near completion. The record was provisionally titled Reportage and expected to be released in late May 2006, with a summer tour to follow, but as reported by Billboard, the album was delayed as guitarist Andy Taylor had a falling out with the rest of the band for unknown reasons, and the material was eventually shelved altogether in favor of recording Red Carpet Massacre. In early October 2006, vocalist Simon Le Bon announced that the band had recorded 3 songs with Timbaland, his protege Nate Daniels, and engineer Jimmy Douglas at Manhattan Center Studios during September. Billboard reported that one of those tracks was Night Runner, featuring Justin Timberlake, which at the time was expected to be the first single from the album. 2 additional songs on which the band worked with Timbaland were titled Skin Divers and Zooming In. Also mentioned were 2 other tracks, 48 Hours Later and Transcendental Mental, which were not used on the album. Andy Taylor's departure. Andy Taylor did not perform at any of Duran Duran's October shows and had not participated during the New York sessions with Timbaland, and on 25 October 2006, a message posted on the band's site announced, "As of last weekend, the 4 of us have dissolved our partnership and will be continuing as Duran Duran without Andy, as we have reached." Brown has since performed with the band as their full-time touring guitarist. Taylor told Rolling Stone magazine that he was in favor of a more electric sound, whereas Le Bon wanted to go in a different direction involving people such as Justin Timberlake and Timbaland. In addition, Taylor wrote in his autobiography that in the renewed bickering between himself, Nick Rhodes, and Le Bon grew worse, and it was not helped by Taylor's emotional state following the death of his father, later diagnosed as clinical depression. According to Taylor's autobiography, the final straw came when he discovered that the band's management had not been able to secure a working visa for him to record in the United States. The other band members maintained that they fully expected him to show up for the recording session with Timbaland, but that he became incommunicado and was unreachable by phone or email, leaving them no choice but to continue on without him. Remaking the album. The band decided to rewrite the whole album following Taylor's departure. 14 songs had been completed for Reportage, but according to Le Bon, "When we sat down and listened to what we had done on our own, we didn't feel we had a lead track. So we got in touch with Timbaland, who was the only producer out there that we knew we all liked." Following the New York sessions in September, Duran Duran moved to Metropolis Studios in London with In June 2007, Duran Duran announced on their official website that they were recording yet another track with Timberlake, titled Falling Down. However, it was Night Runner that the band decided to debut live at the much-anticipated fan club-only Hammerstein Ballroom concert in New York City on 17 June, and Laban was still touting it as the probable first single in a post to the band's official website. Several other album tracks, The Valley, Red Carpet Massacre, Skin Divers, and Boxful O' Honey, were played over the sound system at the concert, but were not performed live. Following the New York concert and a listening party for the media at which the album title was announced, band members Laban, Rhodes, John Taylor, and Roger Taylor went back to England to work on some mixes for the album and perform at the concert for Diana and Live Earth concerts in London. They completed one more recording session in New York and then returned to London to put the finishing touches on the album before its release. Duran Duran bassist John Taylor criticized Sony Music for turning the work on Red Carpet Massacre into a nightmare. According to him, the record label wanted to make their record a bit pop and forced them to collaborate with Timbaland, which turned out to be an unpleasant experience for the band. We delivered an album to Sony that was a natural-sounding, almost rock album, and they were like, "We need something a bit pop. Do you fancy doing a couple of tracks with Timbaland?" he claimed. Nick Rhodes added, "The thing was, we got an opportunity to work with Timbaland, so we thought, great, let's go for it." When Timbaland saw the guitar and the bass and the drums come into the studio, I think he was mortified because everything's in a box for those guys. Release and reception. Red Carpet Massacre received mixed reviews from music critics and was briefly released on vinyl. In 2021, the band signed a deal for the album with BMG, along with Medizoland, Pop Trash, and Astronaut, which saw it being reissued in the UK on various digital platforms, with a planned vinyl reissue due to be released at a later date. Track listing. All lyrics are written by Simon Laban. All music is composed by Duran Duran and Nate Hills, except where noted. All tracks produced by Nate Daniel Hills, Jimmy Douglas, and Duran Duran, except where noted. Personnel. Credits for adapted from the liner notes of Red Carpet Massacre. Duran Duran, Simon Laban, Nick Rhodes, John Taylor, Roger Taylor. Additional musicians. Technical. Artwork. Patty Palazzo Art, Design and Design. John Taylor Art Direction. Nick Rhodes Cover and Inside Photography. Kristen Burns Band and Paparazzo Photography. Charts. Release history.